There you are. I mean, it's not on the system yet, but it's live on here.
All right, this is hello and welcome to the RealRam fam. On my channel, I intend to provide you with a safe platform to discuss the intersections of your entire being, to be able to be comfortable in your own skin, in mission or position. There is no one like you, and we all have a purpose and message. I, for one, am a black woman, mother of four, a military veteran, and a wife, and a social worker, just to name a few. From my channel, I hope that you learn more about military families and social workers. Three of the social work values are my aim in each video: importance of human relationships, dignity and worth of the person, and social justice. No matter what you initially think when you hear social worker, there is more to the profession. Trust me. Stay locked in by subscribing to the channel and be sure that you hit that notifications bell so you don't miss any new uploads. Without further ado, on to today's episode. All right. I hope we're going to really get on to today's episode. What's up, everybody? What's going on? I got Mimi here with me again for part 2 of being a kind neighbor. And if you missed the first one, we'll do a recap real quick. We talked about, so I shared one Facebook post here from my base, and the subject matter was people taking care of their own dogs and their dog poop. And so we ended up with a whole discussion about that. Is it proper to do this? Should you even be upset? And everything like that. Mimi is my friend from middle school. She's not in the military. She's not a spouse of the military. What else would you like to say about yourself, Mimi?
I don't know. I mean, you said it all. I'm not a spouse of a military. We're childhood friends, very outgoing, and a true Gemini.
True Gemini. Okay. So we gonna get this thing. So she and I agreed that we were gonna talk about a Facebook post that was dealing with Halloween because we're really close to Halloween.
Right.
But before we get started, since part 1 was about dogs specifically, I am going to share with you all my own post from this morning dealing with a dog. Now, I shared, well, if you may not know, if you're new to the channel, I do not have a pet. I don't have anything. I don't even have a fish. I just have my 4 children. So I don't think that I should be taking care of nobody else's dog poop or nothing like that. We all have our own lease that we signed with all our same military expectations and private housing expectations and all of that. So with all of that being said, I am going to share with y'all. This is my post. I'm trying to move this over so that you can see. This is my house. This is my front door. This morning, as I'm getting ready to take my children to the bus stop. This is another part of the neighborhood, which is just, if you go out my driveway right here, this is the street, and that's another part of the neighborhood. So I posted somebody, I know who the person is, I just don't know their name, I know where they live, all of that. That their dog was loose. This dog is loose a lot. A lot of the times, this same dog is loose. Previously, we have tried to keep the dog, well, not I ain't gonna say we. My oldest son has tried to keep the dog for the person until they got home. Like we posted on Facebook that the dog is loose. He tried to keep the dog in the backyard for them until they got home. Well, after about like 10 minutes or so, I'm like, no, it's not our responsibility. Let the dog out. Numerous neighbors throughout the neighborhood have caught the dog and tried to hold on to the dog for the owner until they got home. The dog has gotten out so many times. I also meant to pull up another picture of my yard. So we all have a backyard, and we're not talking, Mimi. We ain't talking the hood. But we all have a fenced in backyard with white picketed fence.
Why I gotta be in the hood?
Because I don't want you to try to come at me.
Okay.
These ain't no hood fences. This ain't no hood yard.
Okay.
It's white fences with a little hole, little space underneath it.
Okay.
Part of the rules is you cannot. Okay. Also, what I mean by not the hood is part of the rules. Also, is you can't just leave your dog chained up in your dog cannot be chained up in the backyard. Your dog is not supposed to be unattended in the backyard while you're gone. That's just something you can't do. Mm-hmm. So, in addition, nobody has a doggy door. So how does this dog keep getting out when they're not home? That's my question. Now, of course, my son was like, because the dog's in the backyard and he jumps over the fence. Well, yes, that's the obvious answer. But how was the dog getting out of the house? And how does it keep happening? We all have the back door is a sliding door.
And you guys all have rules there. So they must be leaving their dog out, because if they're not able to catch that their dog is missing and try to walk the neighborhood to find their dog, then they must be just leaving them.
Correct. And so that's where I have an issue. I don't have a problem with dogs. I don't have a problem with dogs. And so you see that the dog is peeing in my yard, right? Dogs don't pee where they pee. You can't control that. Ça va. Et vous? So the dog's gonna do where it is what they're gonna do, but the dog growled and nipped at my child. So my child was scared, and we couldn't finish walking to the bus stop. I had to actually put her in the car. That took a minute. Like, she could have missed the bus. So to continue on with that, what do you have to say about that?
I mean, that definitely is a safety risk. I do agree with you there, because I have a friend that I don't know if you remember back in Junction City when the Rottweilers had gotten out and hurt a little boy. I don't know if you were there then, but I know the guy that he lost his brother from the dog attacks, and I feel like the owners should be responsible for that. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, like you said, it's very dangerous for them to be out by themselves, and they don't know you guys, so they're definitely, some dogs can be nice, but not all. So you don't trust them all. I mean, this period. So I guess what I would say is I would have reported that dog to the what you call them?
The housing office.
Yeah, and to the ones that pick up the pets.
Oh, pet control.
Yeah,
animal
control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I would have reported that one to the animal control and had them come and pick it up.
Yeah. So
because the person, if you keep giving them their pet back, they're not going to learn.
True. Because that's all we do. When there's a loose dog, a loose cat, loose whatever, we just post. You take a picture and post, like, look, your cat is here, your dog is here, whatever. And people always reply and say, call security forces. The cops, call the cops. So that's what I did, and that's what I posted. Now, later on throughout my post, someone was like, there used to be a cop, and they let me know, and other readers, that security forces can't do anything.
Right.
And to call the housing office. Well, I had already, after I called security forces, when I came home, I had already sent the email to housing. because I know whose dog it is.
Right.
I don't know that person's name to
Mm-hmm.
tag them on Facebook. I don't have their phone number,
Right.
none of that.
And that's not your responsibility.
It's not my responsibility. It's,
So I feel like you
multiple
should have,
times.
but you can't get pet on the base, can you?
You can't get what?
The pet control on base.
So I don't know how that works. It would probably take a while. It probably would.
Yeah.
Someone
So I
would
mean,
have
I
to
guess
escort them or something. I don't know.
when you talk to the housing people, or if you ever speak to them, I think that that's the one question you need to find out is if you can call animal control.
Yeah. Yeah. I think someone posted, but right, it's a person. Someone posted to do that, to call animal control or the housing office. And
Yeah.
there's a difference between a loose pet and an attacking pet.
Yeah, because that
But
one's an attacking pet if it was trying to attack a child.
yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's what I did. I was talking with a mutual friend of ours about the situation.
Okay.
And she said, like, you better than me. She was like, if it were me, I would have shot the dog.
Which some people have. So I mean,
Some people will.
but it's not it again, whatever you decide is what you decide.
Mm-hmm.
Because the rules are plain and simple. They have to be inside if they're not home.
Mm-hmm.
And if the pet gets out, that means nobody's looking for them, or they haven't even said something was wrong with their fence that the pet was getting out of, or they have to build something where their pet doesn't get out all the time.
Right.
So it may happen. And I mean, maybe not you doing it, somebody else might do it.
Yeah, exactly.
So
someone else would do that. So I was like, man, if I had a gun and I did that, man, now I got to deal with a dead dog in my yard. I'm not trying to dispose of this dog.
yeah, that's true.
Like,
I knew that's what you was thinking. I knew what you was thinking. You was like, that's
yeah,
too much work.
yeah.
I'm just let it go. Let it go and do whatever else, somebody else deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I said, see, so what about this dead dog in my yard? She said, well, the dog shouldn't have been in my yard in the first place. So now you got a dead dog.
But now you done let the dog out. Now you can go bite somebody else.
Yeah. So that's how someone else would respond to that situation.
Well, I'm just saying, you caught the dog and you put the dog in your backyard. Then you decide to let it go again.
That was a previous time.
Oh, that was a previous time?
That was a previous time. Today, okay. I just took the picture because I had to get to the bus stop. So yeah, previous time we caught the dog, held onto the dog. Other neighbors have caught the dog and tried to, take them, but they're never home when this happens.
Right. So never. Yeah, they need to be held responsible for sure.
Yeah. So that's that.
But how, if they get in trouble with the housing, what exactly could happen to them?
According to the person who responded, they said if it keeps happening, then they kick them out of housing.
So it has to be somebody has to keep reporting it. See, yeah. And all of you guys probably haven't even reported it. Y'all just keep on giving their dog back.
Yeah. Yep.
So y'all are prolonging it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's sad that
we don't know that. We just know that we all sign our lease. We all have our own, laws and stuff we agreement we're supposed to abide by. And if we don't do this, we can get put out. But
right,
we don't know that, because you can't keep your dog or cat or whatever together, you can get put out. I don't know. Maybe it falls under the category also of a certain number of complaints.
Yeah, it does. Also. Because my apartment complex, we have to leash our dogs. We cannot have them off the leash. If your dog is off the leash and my dog is on the leash and your dog comes up to my dog and it attacks it, I'm not at fault because I have mine on leash. You didn't.
Okay.
And if my dog kills your dog, there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna switch to today's topic. And if you have anything you want to say about the situation, especially those of you who are actually on base with me, if you want to leave a comment, go ahead, please leave your comment. So, moving on to Halloween, and we are sticking with the theme of being a quote unquote kind neighbor. So I will repeat that my whole thing with our Facebook, our social media posts is the way that people respond.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I have an issue with.
Right.
So here we go with the next share. So someone, you can see this okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so someone, you see it says, just in case you didn't know. That's letting you know that they're just saying, hey, I'm trying to share knowledge with you.
Yeah, make it a
And
little
they
bit bigger.
say,
Thank you.
here's the post. And this came from a news website.
Mm-hmm.
So the difference in these two buckets, letting you know what these colors mean. A simple post. I'm just educating y'all because Halloween is coming up. Very easy, very kind. This is like the first response. Seems like trick or treating with extra steps. It's not everyone's responsibility to memorize these colors and then all this other stuff. But then right here it says, can't believe this world has become so soft and inclusive. Teach children the truth about this world. Don't shelter them from it. Teach them the truth about what? What? We are talking about, if you see a blue bucket, that lets you know that that child has autism and they may not be verbal. If they got a green bucket, they may have food allergies. Tell them the truth about what? What are you talking about? This is trolling. Like, this is what I truly call trolling right here. So I do get his point right here about us memorizing the color of the bucket, and we may not even notice that it's a different color bucket. I was with him right here.
But that
Because
ending
I'm
was
not gonna
awful.
notice. Like, I'm just, oh, he don't have an orange bucket. Oh, well, what's okay? But then he just went too far. He was a jerk. He was a jerk. So, what do you think?
Okay, so I do think he's a jerk at the end. I do agree with him at the beginning. The beginning is what I would say is perfectly explained. Like the blue bucket and that teal bucket, man, the teal bucket is only for food allergies. The blue bucket is for autism, but some autism kids don't want to be labeled as autism. So some probably won't even get that bucket. And I feel that that's the parents' responsibility to make sure that their kids doesn't, overreact or,
Mm-hmm.
stem or, freak out. And I think, that the food allergies, that's your responsibility. We can't control what we're going to give your kids. We buy what we buy. There's no fruits and vegetables being given out on Halloween, so I'm not
On
quite
some
sure
places
which
it
won't.
is.
So, so I mean, candy is being given out. You have to look at that once your kids get home and decide what you're going to do with it. That's the only thing I can like really say. Like I have two nieces that are autism, and like I said, they don't want to be labeled as autism, so they're not going to get the blue bucket. So it's up to them to walk around and be careful of what makes them unhappy, and they will decide not to go that direction. If it's scary, they make that choice. But also, what if a regular child sees that they want a blue bucket?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're treating kids differently because of that blue bucket, you may be this other child's probably looking at you like, why are you talking to me like that? Like, why are you acting crazy? Just give me my candy. You know, that's that's what I'm saying. Like, how can how are you supposed to act towards them? And some people don't have the patience
Mm-hmm.
to act towards autism the way they should.
And so that's so as the thread continued, like that was the point.
Mm-hmm.
So whether you memorize the colors of the bucket or not, hey, we're letting you know that this does exist. But as people were saying, I have a child who's nonverbal.
Mm-hmm.
This child may not say thank you. This child may come to the door and not say trick or treat. So you saying don't be treating the child
Oh,
differently. I
hello.
mean, what if it is a nonverbal child? They just come to the door and they're just standing there, and then you're going, "Are you gonna say trick or treat? Trick or treat? I'm not gonna give you any candy until you say trick or treat." I mean, it would be nice, but
Go. That's
oh,
what happened.
okay. So you don't really have to act differently other than don't be a jerk to a kid. And now Mimi's gone. So yeah, that's all it takes. And so I know that I did not know anything about these different color buckets. And I'm probably still not gonna take the time to learn the difference, to be honest. But it's nice to know that it exists. I don't really participate in Halloween like that because I'm not a big partaker of candy, and I'm trying to hold on to the candy for a whole year and hide the candy from my kids, and not like that's just too much work. But having a younger set of children, I'm trying to do a little bit differently and still let them have fun, because my older two, yeah, we cut Halloween, we cut that. So
So, so I was gonna say about his last comment about, like, making people or kids know the real thing about the world or whatever. I'm not quite sure
yeah.
what he's talking there. I think maybe what he's trying to say, I guess, because now in school society, everybody wins whenever they play games. It's not a win or lose person, and which we really shouldn't be like that. We should allow them to lose and win,
Mm-hmm.
like we did when we were growing up. Like there was always a winner and there was always a, loser, unfortunately, or third, fourth, fifth place or whatever. Not everybody got a blue ribbon.
Yeah.
So I think that maybe what he's trying to say, that's how I took it. That maybe that's what he was trying to say, but he just didn't have enough information with it, is what I'm saying.
Well, it could be, but I don't know. I don't think. I think that he could have just stopped right there
Yeah,
where
he
he
could
was
have.
in the beginning. But when you saying that we all soft and being inclusive, I mean that's everything.
Yeah, because but his crowd is actually autism parents. So he could have stopped that because
Exactly.
technically you're talking about autism kids that don't have control of the over their feelings or understanding. Not all of them understand the whole society thing.
Right.
So yeah, he could have stopped.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that.
And me learning now a little bit more about autism, like in the whole social issues that they may have.
Hmm.
So this probably are so also other parents were posting about ADHD and stuff like that.
Right.
So I mean you want to allow your children to have fun and be with their peers, and I mean and let me tell you what else reason why this was unnecessary.
Okay.
His response. I don't know how it is out there, and if it's the same in the regular world.
Hmm.
But trick or treating this year and last year is social distanced. So you're supposed to pre-pack the candy. It's supposed to be like in the baggies or Ziploc bags or whatever, and like at at the end of the driveway. Well, last year it was grab and go, but this year they're like, you still hand out the bags. They want you to hand it out. So that was really unnecessary because the candy is already put together in a bag.
Prepackaged. Okay.
At that point, that is completely, like we said, completely up to the parent when you get home to figure out what your child can and cannot have. Now,
Hmm.
because this post was shared so far in advance, if people wanted to be extra sensitive, because apparently, I'm not saying sensitive as in like soft, I'm saying
Right.
sensitive to people's needs. That post got so many responses that showed me that we have a lot of children on this base that have autism.
Mm-hmm. I
So
really, I'm just, throughout this whole time that I'm learning about my nieces, like, I can now see that a lot of people in the world, period, has a little
Mhm.
autism of themselves. And even myself, I think that there's some things that I have noticed of, that kind of could be considered autism, because like there's certain things I don't like to listen to, or I can't handle, or it's just, a lot of people are like that now.
Yeah.
And I
So
and I and you have to respect people and treat them
exactly.
accordingly. If they feel that you're violating them or feeling making them feel uncomfortable, you have to now respect that. You have to back up and say, you know what? Oh, I'm sorry if I made you feel uncomfortable, or if I'm creating something that's not making you happy. I mean, because it can happen, because you could set somebody off into a frantic panic.
Yep. And so I was saying that since it was shared so far in advance,
Mm-hmm.
that did give some of these parents time to go make separate bags if
Right.
they chose to, right? This is the free for all candy, and then
Yeah.
they can make separate ones if people felt like they wanted to do that.
Exactly.
Um,
Bring some fruit, some apples, and some oranges, and
yeah, whatever. It's really, really hard to find nut-free candy or candy that was not processed in the nut in the
yes.
in the
When
calories.
I tell you
But still,
it is hard because I'm gluten free, so I know, and I'm allergic to wheat and oats, so I know.
yeah. So with all the people who responded,
Hmm.
knowing that their child isn't the only one,
Yeah,
I mean, come on. It's just
they have time to
being,
fix it.
yeah, being kind. Like,
Hmm.
oh, okay, it isn't just my child who can't eat this or can't that. Oh, it isn't just my child who has all these allergies. There's other people here too. Because the person could have been sitting there like, my kid can't enjoy Halloween because they have severe allergies. And I don't know
Right.
what everybody else. Oh, well, now this post lets you know that if you felt like, because let's take it back. It's your responsibility as a parent to take care of what your child can and cannot eat, right?
Hmm.
So when you go to a birthday party, you tell your kid they can't eat it, blah, 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 whatever.
Right.
Or you tell the parent in advance or whatever.
But some parents forget.
And some
So.
parents forget. So you may have said, all right, my child has this allergy, my child has autism or whatever, and you have always made your own stuff at home.
Hmm.
You never let your child go. Y'all just did your own stuff at home. But because this person shared the post, y'all all together can do this thing, right? I don't know. I'm
Right.
just in my head, I'm just seeing popcorn balls because I know that's what people like to make.
Right.
But let's just say you make popcorn balls every year.
Right.
And you're like, well, I can't give these out. Nobody wants popcorn balls. But now there's 20 other families on base who are also making popcorn balls.
Everybody make popcorn balls because that's all they could think of.
Exactly. So it's like,
Right.
oh, well, okay, now you can still participate in Halloween together because I'm making popcorn balls, they making popcorn balls, and all right then. So
I
that
get it. I get it. I mean, he was that post was being kind for everybody to think of everybody, and you're right. If it was out early enough, and if you guys had like a committee that could like run it and say, hey, you make apples without the candy on it, or what I'm saying, like,
mhm.
just put the stick in the apple or whatever, what I'm saying. There could have been so many options.
Yep.
But again, a lot of people get lazy. I mean, that comes back to laziness and not trying to understand your neighbor.
Exactly. Exactly. So you and I promised that we would just do a short one.
Yeah.
And so our next one, oh, actually, I have it written down. I think November 1st. November
Mm-hmm.
1st, I'm going to have a guest and we're going to talk about Dave Chappelle's show The Closer. Think you're coming back for that one too, right?
Yeah, I'll be back.
Yeah, Mimi and another guest. We're gonna discuss The Closer. I've just finished watching it. So we get all into whatever controversy there is to have about it. Also, I have been in touch with a former CPS social worker. That's the one who y'all call the baby snatchers. But
Ah,
a former CPS social worker to come on to my show and also have a cop with him. So we
okay.
can discuss because next month is adoption month and domestic violence awareness month. So we can discuss those things
Oh,
from
so domestic violence is continuing?
I'm sure that it is,
Okay.
but November is Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Hmm. Because I thought it was
And
this one too with the breast
girl,
cancer. Who knows? Child, they have so
I
much
looked it
stuff.
up. It said November.
So that's the official.
No, 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 no. October was Suicide Prevention Awareness Month.
Yeah, but they still was talking about domestic violence too.
Probably just trying to get you ready.
Ah,
Because
okay. I can't
during
keep
this
up with
time of
all these different
year,
holidays people trying to bring in. So
yeah, during this time of year, that's when it all gets bad anyway.
right.
Depression, domestic
Yeah,
violence,
because it's
all
getting
of it.
cold and gloomy.
Yep. So hopefully that will work out. I don't have a date on that yet, viewers. But if you guys have questions that you would like to ask a former CPS social worker and a cop related to adoptions and domestic violence, let me know. I'm gonna just throw out a question for you right now. Like perhaps you may want to know what's the difference between domestic violence and like child abuse when it comes to your children, or do when your children observe child abuse or domestic violence, and when can your child be taken from you? Just throwing those out there. That may be a question that y'all may want to know.
Yeah.
So join me, Mimi, and the special guest from DC. I believe that it's going to be November the 1st, and we discuss Dave Chappelle's The Closer.
All right.
I made it to 125 subscribers, but it's not a public profile. So I know who the person is. So she wins. So I'm going to give her the t-shirt. So the next public YouTube profile who subscribes to my channel will get a t-shirt. Lift every voice. This t-shirt will be yours by being the next public profile subscriber. All right, Mimi, any closing remarks?
Nope. Just stay blessed.
Stay blessed.
I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. I would like to thank my guests for joining me, or simply thank you for watching the pre recorded episode. No matter what your birth order is, how you self identify, and whether you like pancakes or waffles. If this is the first time you're hearing it today, I want you to know that you are loved. You were put here for a purpose that only you can fulfill. Until next time, take care of yourself. Be sure that you like and share the videos, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notifications bell. This is RealRam out.